Hey, you are watching Backward Exploration, and today we're going to be doing a long-term review of the Trasharoo by the California Tape Company. So, if you're unfamiliar with what the Trasharoo is, it is what is called a spare tire trash bag, and essentially it is a bag that wraps around the spare tire of a vehicle on the exterior of the vehicle so that you can be able to put trash and other things inside of it that maybe you don't want to keep inside the rig. So Trasharoo, I think, is probably the biggest and most popular brand out there. Although there are a lot of new competitors that are kind of coming into the space, and I'm going to talk a teeny bit about that. But overall, I've had the Trasharoo for over 2 years, and over the past 18 months, it's lived 100% of the time on my vehicle. So when I very first got it, I would take it off in between each trip, and honestly, that became a little bit tedious, mostly because of the rear swing out that I have on my Jeep. And so once I got it on and in a nice firm place where I really liked the positioning of it, I decided I'm not going to touch it anymore. So a few things that you should know about it. So it's made out of a nice vinyl fabric, and then on the inside they're sewn in vinyl. They do double stitching and kind of standard best practices for type of like an outdoor vinyl bag in general. Other features that it has that I think are really cool, it actually has a pocket here. And in this pocket, it's basically the whole top flap here. You can put anything you want in there, obviously. For me, I really like to do this. I keep my spare plastic trash bags in there. So I use those as a liner so that when I get back, I can just take the plastic bag out, toss it in the garbage, use a new liner on the inside. Additionally, I actually keep our dog's food. Molly, she comes with me on all of our trips, and so I keep her dog bowls in here and the food in there. That makes it so that it's quick access. If we want to stop on the trail and I want to feed her, give her some water, I can easily just pull those out and get her taken care of. So you can see mine, the zippers, you know, they're getting to the point where it's a little stiff, but you have to remember this thing is on my rig all the time. So I don't commute every day in my vehicle. But I pretty much use it every weekend for running around, and then I do it for all of my trips. So you can see I hit it, it's dusty, it's dirty, it gets a lot of use and abuse. The other thing that's kind of cool is it actually has this little mesh liner here, and there is MOLLE panel loops here if you wanted to maybe attach some other bags. I've seen a lot of guys actually attach like a MOLLE panel first aid kit, which is pretty cool on the outside. I've thought about doing that. For this mesh bag, I usually just kind of keep things that are handy to have quick access to. So I usually keep some wipes in there. I drop my propane tanks in. I got bug spray, you know, so that we don't have to go digging through the rig to pull out the bug spray. But I kind of like to just keep stuff that's kind of quick access. I did learn that you don't want to put anything in there that's like too heavy or has like metal sharp edges or anything. For a while, I actually kept the dog's leash in there. And after a little while, I noticed that it started to kind of wear through the mesh netting. So I pretty much only keep things with like rounded edges and stuff, or that isn't heavy. But in general, the bag has held up really, really well. I have no tears in it. The zipper still works. It's getting a little sticky, but honestly, if I cleaned it and actually maintained it a little bit, it would be fine. But the reality is I do nothing with this thing. Every time after I get home from a trip, I take everything out of it. When I clean the Jeep, I just pressure wash this thing off too to kind of help with the dust, and then get if there's any like garbage that's spilled in the inside that's kind of gross, then I'll take care of that. So the main feature though is you have these two buckled clips on each side. You open that up and you can see I have a trash bag liner in here, and you could put anything in here you want. Sometimes I'll actually separate it and I'll have a bag on one side that I'll put for dirty clothes, and then on the other bag will be for garbage. I like that, especially if we've been on a trip where we're getting kind of wet. I have 3 kids, and so sometimes they'll get wet and it's impossible to dry the gear out before we get home, and I can just kind of put it in there and then it doesn't start to stink inside the vehicle. Additionally, to me, the main benefit of this Trasharoo is just getting stinky stuff out of the rig or into the back, because I've got, like I said, I have 3 kids. One of them is still in diapers, and so when we have a poopy diaper, straight into the bag. It's in a nice place where it can be nice and secure and not stink. So it has a 50-pound load capacity, and I've seen people put way more than that. In fact, I see a lot of people, if they're going somewhere where you can't gather firewood, they'll put 4 or 5 big logs of firewood in the very bottom of it until they get to camp. And so I think you're probably fine going over that. I'm just telling you what they say on the website is the load capacity for it. So now to talk about some of the other bags that are out there on the market. I haven't used any of those, so I'm not going to do like a side-by-side comparison or anything like that. All I'm going to say about the Trasharoo in comparison to those is of bags that are similar type style, where they're a full trash bag carrier with any other features like zippers or pockets, because there's a couple that are just like a mesh bag that hangs off the back. I don't qualify those as the same category. Of all of the other bags, this is by far the most affordable. So I know that like Blue Ridge Overland Gear, they have a bag that people have rave reviews of. It looks like it's made of probably a heavier duty vinyl. Of course, they brag about the stitching and all of those types of things. There's another guy here in Utah, Overland Gear guy. He makes a bag. I've actually had the chance to hold it and look at it. It's awesome. But where this lies in comparison to those, like I said, I'm not going to do a side-by-side comparison because I haven't owned those. But what I do know about those is that the Trasharoo is in every instance at least half, and most of the time the other bags are 3 times as much money. And to me, that's the main crux that I have with it. So I know that guys have complained that like over time their straps, they'll get brittle, or the buckles will get brittle and they'll break and they no longer work. I anticipate that would happen with all of the bags. Maybe this one is not quote-unquote as high of quality, and so maybe it would happen a little bit faster. But in my opinion, I've had it, like I said, on my rig full-time, 18 months. I can't fit my Jeep in the garage, so it's outside. I live in Utah, which means really cold, snowy winters and really hot, dry summers. So this bag is taking about as much abuse as you can actually give to one of these things, and it has held up exceptionally well. So I look at it and say, okay, this bag has lasted me 2 years, 18 months full-time on the rig. I would guess that I have another at least 6 months, most likely a year's worth of use in it. So that's where I have the hard time with some of the other bags, is if I'm going to compare them to those, if I was going to pick up one of the bags that costs 3 times as much, it would have to last 5 or 6 years to actually still provide the same value for money that I found with the Trasharoo. You can pick these up for usually about $49.99 on Amazon. You can also pick them up directly from, you know, several different off-road and overland retailers. I find that Amazon is just the easiest for something like this. And if you're curious about picking those up, I'll have some links in the description that you can click on. You should know those are affiliate links, so if you click on it and purchase it, I will get a small commission. It doesn't cost you anything extra. But overall, I absolutely love this. I bought it myself. They didn't give me this. I'm not sponsored or anything. This is my 100% review. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being this thing sucks and I would never recommend it to anyone, 10 being this is the best product I've ever seen, I probably put it right in there at about a 7. So the reasoning for that is that I really think that products should last anywhere between 3 to 5 years. This isn't probably going to quite last that long. But when I say 3 to 5 years, a lot of that depends on how much the product costs. And for $49.99, if this thing lasts me 2 to 3 years, that might even kick it up into those upper levels. Things that I wish were a little bit different about it. For me, and this isn't necessarily for everyone, I would actually love for there to be an inner barrier that you could either zip in or is just there permanently, or even if they just offered a bag that has that. Like I said, I like to separate my gear sometimes, where I'll put clothes and stuff on one side and I'll put trash on the other side. If you were going for like a week or a 2-week trip where you were going to have no ability to get rid of your garbage, then you would probably need this whole thing's capacity. I've found for me, for weekend type trips that I'm doing, you know, anywhere between 2 and 4 days, it's way more space than I need. And so if I could actually split it and use the sides a little bit differently, I would totally do that. I also think it would be handy if at least one of these, not all of them need it, but if at least one of these had like a drawstring on it where you could cinch it up. I think that would be pretty handy, because it is just open flow, so you can't just put anything in there. So for example, like these I have in there right now, I can't leave these in because it's open flow. They'll start to blow away, so I need to take out, you know, these are just some wipes. I need to take those out. But in general, I love it for just handling garbage. All the time I'll see a piece of garbage on the ground as I'm driving, can pick it up. It's easy to just throw in the Trasharoo, get rid of, helps clean things up. As far as taking care of your trash and things like that, I really think that everyone who's doing any type of camping or overlanding should be using something like this to make sure that they're packing out everything that they packed in. So if you liked this review and you want to see more like it, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also hit that bell button so that you get notifications about each video. So in the past, YouTube used to notify you when someone that you subscribe to posted a new video. Now they only do it if you have that bell notification set. If you've used the Trasharoo and you like it or dislike it. Share your comments below in the comments section. If you've used one of the other bags and you like it, or you've used both and you have a comparison, jump in. Let's get a conversation going about why you like the bag that you have and what some of those features are. Thanks for watching.